everyone, this is Tisha. I'm coming to you from Ibiza. Ooh la la. We've just finished doing a beautiful red tent retreat here with some beautiful women from all around the world. So feeling full and grateful. So this coming week, we are waxing to full moon. It's a blue moon. So what does that mean? Well, it's the second full moon within a calendar month. So like the saying, you know, happens in a blue moon. This is something that is quite rare. And this, more than any other blue moon, is a time to expect the unexpected. Why? Well, we've got Uranus, Uranus, if you like to laugh at butt humor, but it's going to be square this full moon. So what does that mean? Well, a square is a 90-degree angle. It's a challenging aspect. So it means Uranus is challenging us this full moon to really look at what needs to change so that we are living our future self, our future dreams. Hi, thanks for joining me live, those of you tuning in. So this full moon will be in Libra. Now you may be going, well, just hang on a minute, Groundhog Day, wasn't the last full moon in Libra? Yes, it was. So it's kind of like revision. And this full moon it occurs at 30 degrees Libra. So this is the last degree of the sign. So it's a final exam for our relationship lessons, for all the lessons of Libra. So whatever you've been journeying for the last 5 weeks and the next 3 weeks to come, you've probably had, you know, like a torchlight on the state of your relationships, not just intimate relationships, but all types of relating, whether that's how we get along with our family, how we get along with our friends, our neighbors, our work colleagues, our clients. So Libra is the sign of relationships. Now it's an air sign, so the challenge when we have a transit such as a full moon in Libra is to not be all talk, okay? To really back up with right action what it is we know we need to do. And in this, you know, from yesterday, which was exact first quarter moon, you may have really felt this intense inner pressure coming up and felt more emotional than usual. And that's because, you know, with Uranus forming a square to this full moon, it's really bringing up internal pressure emotionally around what needs to change, particularly around how we use our energy. Because if we think about Uranus, you know, this is like the planet of energy. It's why now that we're moving into the Aquarian age, which Uranus moves, we're really focusing on alternate energy sources, free energy, Kundalini energy. So this full moon is really likely to bring up where what we're doing in our life is out of balance and it's really draining our energy. Okay, so why do I say that? Well, Libra, as well as being about relationships, and also particularly friendships, okay? It's, you know, this full moon may bring to a head issues to do with your friendships where you need to speak your truth, but in a diplomatic way. So Libra gives us social grace. It gives us the ability to really see things from the other perspective so that instead of creating conflict, which we can do if we're more in the opposite sign on the spectrum of Aries, where we're really just thinking about our own needs, if we demonstrate or open a conversation is potentially challenging with another person, really giving an example of how we've thought about it from their perspective, chances are the negotiations are going to go much more smoothly. So, you know, this full moon is an opportunity to be authentic, but create win-win situations, create peaceful outcomes with everybody that we're dealing with. You know, Libra asks us to develop the ability to cooperate, to find mutually beneficial outcomes. So, you know, it's you will see the symbol of Libra, the scales. Even in a court of law, I used to, you know, do the recordings for the court transcripts, and they would have up next to the judge the emblem of Libra, which is the scales. But next to that, or as part of that glyph, was the goddess Athena. And bless them, after 5,000 years of patriarchy, they've still got Athena there in our courts of law. And why is that? Well, in ancient Greece, when they couldn't make a decision, they would invoke Athena to help rule on the side of mercy. And the reason that I like to bring that up is, you know, when we're locked in some sort of struggle between whose way is the right way, at what is the merciful thing to do? Okay, mercy is when we grant great kindness because we're moved by compassion. And because Libra is an air sign, you know, we can be so void of emotion that we become cold and impersonal. And so, you know, the other party may feel, God, they don't care at all. And in fact, we're just striving to be impartial. Similarly, in courts of law, you know, having worked in them, not as I was like a trained chimp, I pressed play and record and then, you know, mark the speaker changes for the barristers. But, you know, if a witness got on the witness stand and they were very emotional, I would notice that the judge and the barristers would be more dismissive of them because, you know, they really valued those who could separate the drama from the facts and really isolate the facts so that a rational decision could be reached at using cool logic, you know, not spiraling down into he said and she said and all the drama. And I use that example because it may well provide us all with an opportunity to do that in our lives as we approach this full moon, to look at, okay, yes, I have an emotional body. Yes, my emotions are valid. You know, they help show me what my needs are. However, if we get stuck in our emotions and we emotions by striving to see a situation from a higher perspective, to identify the lesson in it, then we just, you know, get caught up in this, you know, merry-go-round of blaming others to avoid accountability, which creates karma drama, so that we have to learn the hard way, which is through cause and effect. Whereas if we can rise above a situation and just focus on, well, what's my lesson? How can I, you know, ensure that I am doing, you know, what it is that my soul needs to do to step up, then, you know, we've got far more chance of situations resolving in a peaceful way. And here in Spain, I've been delighted to see so many olive trees, and the oldest olive trees I've ever seen, like trees that look so, you know. And the reason I raised that is Athena, the goddess who I mentioned before, she represents peace because she holds out the olive branch. You know, Athens was named Athens after Athena because when they arrived at a name for the city, there was a competition. And they said whichever Olympiad god or goddess gave the greatest gift to the city would have the city named after them. And the story goes that Poseidon, you know, brought out the horse, and everyone was like, wow, that's a pretty impressive gift. Gonna have trouble topping that, Athena. And Athena spoke and she said, well, the horse is certainly a magnificent animal, but I dare say in the hands of men it may be used more as an instrument of war. And what I would like to dedicate to the city is an olive tree, because it can be used medicinally. The olive leaf extract is wonderful for immunity. The olive oil can be used for health, for cooking. and it can be used for trade to grow the wealth of the city. So this indicates that she represents peace, that the best outcome is never war, is never separation, is never division. It's about finding a mutually honouring solution, and that is certainly our challenge this week as we approach full moon in Libra. So yeah, whatever situation has been playing out in your life, if you have felt unfairly treated, identify how you perhaps are seeing the situation in an unbalanced way. If we think about those scales of justice, we can only have justice if we are balanced. Okay, so the more we are personally balanced, mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically, the more harmonious all of our human interactions become. So in the lead up to this full moon, we're likely to have it brought to our attention where we are out of balance. Okay, so for instance, if you're overworking, your health may bring you to your knees, you know, or if you have been very codependent and you haven't had any time to yourself, you may rebel against your partner in order to get your own sense of individuality again. So rather than act it out unconsciously, this is a great time to journal and to ask yourself the question, where am I out of balance? And what am I going to do about it? Because Libra is very much the strategy maker, the pattern maker, one who comes up with a plan. Okay, and before we can really take right action, we need to consider the impact of the actions that we'll take. The opposite sign, Aries, can act impulsively like a child, just focusing on, I want this and I want it now. Whereas the opposite sign of Libra pauses and considers, okay, the effect of my words, the effect of my actions. In other words, they consider the other. So that is our challenge this fall. Have Venus forming a quincunx angle to this coming full moon. It will take place on April the 20th for those in Australia that are on the sort of the forerunners of the dateline, and for those in Europe and America, April 19. So this could really impact women quite intensely, this full moon, in terms of, oh, I need change, particularly in the realm of relationships. So, you know, what I have observed in 23 years of working with women, it's women that often initiate leaving a relationship. And the reason they do is they feel it's not loving, it's not self-honoring to stay. And the reason is, more often than not, that they feel their partners aren't committed to growing, committed to their own growth, committed to the growth of the union. And so to the brothers out there that are watching this video, I invite you to consider that investing in your personal growth is the greatest investment you can do to enjoy a happy home life, a happy personal relationship, a happy family, because it's what women value most. You know, we really value somebody who is willing to invest in themselves. So, you know, our culture teaches us that, you know, what we most value in a man is a man with a big bank account or a big dick. I mean, God, those things are not going to create a soul-fulfilling union. And the lessons of what does create a soul-fulfilling union you can find in my books on sacred union. They're available at my website, themoonwoman.com, or you can go to Amazon, you can go to Barnes & Noble. It's on all the online bookstores as well, both as an ebook and as a, you know, a paperback. But I'd also like to shout out to those of you who are, you know, in Europe, my partner Franz and I are doing events throughout Europe to assist people to transform relationships and how they do relationship. Whether they're single currently, whether they're partnered currently, makes no difference. Our weekend workshops are for everybody, because we're all needing to bring more awareness to how we interact as human beings. You know, this is a time for us to evolve as a species, and the way we've been doing things really isn't working. So we need to acknowledge that. You know, the divorce rate's almost at 50%, and those that are together are often having cyclic fights and, you know, re-wounding each other. So the workshops that we're doing are to assist men and women, again, whether you're partnered or unpartnered, on the shadow dance of relating, how to transcend those triggers that happen in relationship, what to do when your partner goes into a mood, yeah, the silent mood, what to do about that. You know, the basic life skills that we just didn't get, which really impact our daily life. So if you're interested in checking out our events, check out the European Sacred Union Tour on themoonwoman.com. And we're also doing beautiful ceremonies to heal the hurts between men and women throughout Europe. So there's events in France. Interesting, there's a siren in the background as I speak about this. Yes, it's emergency time. So yeah, we're doing events in the south of France, Malta, and in Germany. And I've also got coming up a retreat for women on Amorgos, a beautiful Greek island, May 12 it starts, and through to May 20. This is a beautiful journey to awaken the 7 aspects of the chakras, so that by the end of it, you will feel 8 foot tall and absolutely clear and empowered as a woman, having accessed every aspect of your feminine psyche and learnt to empower it. So there's still places for that. You can check out details on my website, themoonwoman.com. So blessings on your full moon, wherever you are in the world. Know that this is a challenging time. This whole year we are in transition, transition being the phase of the birthing or creative process when you just feel, bugger it, I've had enough, I'm tired, I don't want to play anymore, and you want to throw the toys out of the cot. Know that you're not alone. We are living through very intense times. There are a lot of people leaving the planet, but ultimately we're being called upon to do a shamanic death and rebirth. That is a death of the ego. And so whatever is playing out in our lives is pushing us, is like the divine cattle prod, you know, inviting us to transform, to change, to look at what is not working, and to make it an absolute priority to do something different that will catalyze a rebirth, whether that's a retreat, whether that's, you know, reading self-help books, whether that's counseling. But, you know, this is the time. Everything is pointing us towards this, because the intensity has become truly unbearable, you know, so we have to transform, or we're going to want to, you know, physically die. So do reach out to people around you that you feel are at risk. Know that, you know, this is a time when many people are really in the dark night of the soul, and that coming up to full moon is a time of intensity when that can really, you know, become unbearable. So, you know, this is a time of us finding strength through community and just exercising kindness as much as possible, treating others the way you want to be treated. So blessings from Spain, and I look forward to meeting those of you who come to our European events, and have a beautiful blue moon. May you be divinely blessed with unexpected miracles. Ciao for now.